up on Speedway Line Report Radio, presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut. Tonight, joining me and my co-host, Ricky Rotondo. He finished 6th Friday night on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour at Stafford Speedway and is currently 4th in the point standings. Driver Craig Lutz will join us. Jimmy Showtime Blewett, who had a good run Friday night at Stafford on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, he finished 8th, was scheduled to join us tonight. But unfortunately, he did text me about 15 minutes ago and will not be able to join us. He had an emergency to take care of, so Jimmy Blewett not going to join us tonight. Instead, we'll have another driver from the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. He drives car number 16. Timmy Solomito will join us and talk about his 2018 season. And we'll be taking your phone calls at 203-757-1320. We stream live at WATR.com, and to hear our shows in a rebroadcast, you can now go to SidsView.com. You can also check us out on the TuneIn Radio and on the Simple Radio app. Today is Monday, August 6, 2018, and Speedway Line Report Radio is headed your way right now.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
The green flag is in the air, and it's time for the Speedway Line Report, presented by Shaler Acura of Manchester. Broadcasting from our WATR studios in Waterbury, Connecticut, and streaming live around the world. Now, here's your host.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. I am Gary Danko. My co-host is Rocket Rick Rotondo, and Speedway Line Report Radio is presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut, and also being brought to you by J.M. Montesano Auto Body, Sign Pro, Jim's Lawn Care Service, Levine Auto and Truck Parts, Prestige Body Works, and Grotto Restaurant. The phone number that you need tonight, 203-757-1320. On Monday nights here in our Waterbury studio, we talk auto racing. We'd love to hear from you. Our scheduled guest tonight, Craig Lutz. We'll talk to him about his 2018 season on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. And as I mentioned, Jimmy Showtime Blewett was scheduled to join us tonight, but unfortunately, as he sent a text to me just about 5:45 tonight saying he was not going to be able to be on tonight's show because he had to take care of an emergency. He is going to do the show next Monday night here on Speedway Line Report Radio. But we're going to talk to Timmy Solomito. We'll check in with him and see how things are going for his team in the 2018 season on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Of course, their last stop was at Stafford Speedway this past Friday night. The next stop for the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour comes up August 8th at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park in Thompson, Connecticut. And, of course, then they moved on to Bristol Motor Speedway in a couple of weeks. My co-host is Rocket Rick Rotondo. And before I get to Rocket Rick, don't forget, you can listen to our show in a rebroadcast by going to SidsView.com. We appreciate everything that Sid DiMaggio is doing for us for the remainder of the 2018 season here on Speedway Line Report Radio. Rick is, of course, a crew member on Eric Bernst's SK Modified that competes over at Stafford Speedway on Friday night. And, of course, 2 weeks ago they sat in victory lane. Unfortunately, things did not go well this past Friday night. Ricky, tell us what happened.
We had a good car again, and I mean, it was only lap 6, but everything seemed to be good, and a wreck was happening in front, made it through the wreck, and it was just, I stopped looking at the car because the caution was out and we made it through the wreck, and Eric and another driver, I don't think either one of them were paying that much attention to what was happening because they were so happy they made it through the accident, and then they smashed into each other after the accident. So we got taken out for that. And, I mean, it was, you know, the other driver started coming down, and Eric hit the throttle and just smashed into the back of him and wrecked the radiator and our front suspension. And the other kid, Kopchik, he went a little bit longer, but I think toward the end he had to get pulled out of the race. It just, you know, it was unfortunate for both guys because Kopchik's been running real well also. So it was just too bad, but it is what it is. And Reen got the win, I guess.
Yeah, Glenn Reen picked up the victory over Matt Galco. Tom Bowles was third. Tyler Hines was fourth. And rounding out the top five was
who was
Michael
third again?
Tommy Bowles picked up third. The Ellington, Connecticut driver, who's been around auto racing for a long, long time. But once again, congratulations going out to Glenn Reen. Tom Fern picked up the win in the late model division over Kevin Gambracorta. Tyler Leary would finish third, and congratulations to all the other drivers that visited Victory Lane this past Friday night at Stafford Speedway. So once again, Craig Lutz and Timmy Solomito scheduled to join us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. 203-757-1320. If you'd like to talk auto racing with us, we'd love to hear from you. 203-757-1320. Speedway Line Report Radio is presented to you by Shaler Acura, Manchester, Connecticut. We'll be back with our first guest of the evening here on Speedway Line Report Radio, NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour driver Craig Lutz. He'll join us next.
There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com. In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Opinions expressed on the Speedway Line Report do not necessarily reflect those of WATR management and staff, or the management and staff of the SpeedwayLineReport.com or VintageModifieds.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio. Of course, if you don't know by now, Brian France, the CEO of NASCAR, was charged with DWI over this past weekend. Some other charges went along with that as well. And, of course, a statement has come out from Brian France, and he apologizes to all of the fans of our industry and my family for the impact of my actions last night. Effective immediately, I will be taking an indefinite leave of absence from my position to focus on my personal affairs. Brian France has taken, as I mentioned, an indefinite leave of absence from NASCAR as the chairman and the chief executive officer, effective immediately. And NASCAR vice chairman and executive vice president Jim France has assumed the role in the interim chairman and chief executive officer. So that coming out from NASCAR just a few minutes ago. Our first guest of the evening is all set and ready to go. He was certainly ready this past Friday night, where he came home with a sixth-place finish. He currently is fourth in the point standings on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Craig Lutz now joins us. Craig, good evening. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. First of all, things are going very well for you and your race team so far in 2018 on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Before we talk about Stafford, talk about some of the races leading up to Stafford Speedway this past Friday night.
Yeah, we kicked our season off down in New Smyrna, Florida. So lucky enough we were able to run 5 nights down there, put together some strong finishes, and just continue to grow as a team. I think that was the biggest part of going down there. So that definitely helped. And then Myrtle Beach, we came away with a 10th place finish. So we're lucky to get out of there. And then Thompson, we kicked off strong up here in the Northeast, finished second there, fifth at Stafford, and then we went down to Langley, and we had a motor problem. The car was running good, and really fast. It's just trying to put together the runs and the finishes that we deserve.
Yeah, and then after Langley, you'd head to Riverhead Raceway back in July. How did that work out for you?
It was a solid night for us. My best finish there, my best career finish, and for them too. So, sixth place finish. It was a good night. So got out there. That's a tough track. You never know what could happen there. So coming out there in one piece is always a good thing. And
what about New Hampshire?
New Hampshire, we struggled a little bit. Got in an early race incident, which hurt our day. So that was kind of a bummer, but put that behind us and got off to Stafford on Friday. And
my co-host, Rocket Rick Rotondo. Ricky, of course, good solid run for Craig and his race team this past Friday night, a sixth-place finish at Stafford Speedway.
Yeah, no, definitely a solid run, and I mean, fourth in the points is nothing to, chagrin about. I mean, that's doing everything that you got to do to be fourth in the points on the Whelen Modified Tour, no doubt about that.
And how would you describe your run Friday night at Stafford, Craig?
It was a good run. We struggled all day just to find the short run speed that some of these other guys had. So we ended up time trial 13th. So we're a little behind where we wanted to be, obviously, but was able to put. I knew we were going to have a good race car, so we were running the top 10 all day, and then got tires late, which I think was the right call, but just ran out of laps. So sixth place was a good run for us, though.
How would you describe from the cockpit of your race car what you're trying to negotiate around Stafford Motor Speedway?
Stafford's a fun track to drive. It's very line sensitive, so you got to hit your marks every corner to be able to put down a good lap. So if you could do that consistently, you should be able to be there at the end.
We're talking with Craig Lutz, who runs on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. We're talking to him about his 2018 season. Phone lines are open at 203-757-1320. 203-757-1320.
Yeah, your next race is at Thompson Speedway, but the one after that is something that I'm sure you're interested in, and that's Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
Now, have you been to Bristol before?
Last year was my first time there.
How'd you do last year?
We had a part failure about halfway through the race, so it was definitely was cool to get some experience there, and definitely a one of a kind racetrack. So
yeah, it's it's the banking out there. People really have no idea how much banking is out there, and I was down there for a couple of the races with Eric Burnt, and a red flag came out, and we got stopped right in the middle of the corner, right in the middle of 1 and 2. After a couple minutes of the red flag, he clicks on the radio. He goes, "Can you find out if I could straighten out my car?" He goes, "My sides are killing me," because he was just so angled in the car, just right in the middle of the banking.
Yeah, it really is crazy how much banking there is, and a lot of people don't know that until, like yourself, you get to see it personally. And then there's a different rule package there this year, so I think that's going to be interesting. It's we're going to have restrictor plates now, a bigger spoiler, so I think the racing is going to be also a little different than it is normally.
Yeah, and one of the things I liked on the Cup is they put that I don't know, the oscillating or whatever the level. They put it inside their cars, and you can see the camera, so when the cars are going through the corner, it stays level, but it shows you the angle of the car. And when they're going through the corner, you see that thing go whoop, all the way down like this.
Wow.
And it gets, people's attention to see exactly how much banking goes into that corner when they go through it.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely an eye-opener when you get there, and my first time on the track, and trying to tell yourself, if your car's set up good and you're going for a pole run, that you have to keep it almost wide open around the whole whole track. So in a 600 horsepower race car, that's a scary thought to get over.
Absolutely. Craig Lutz is on the line with us. He runs on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. He's having a strong 2018 season on the tour. And Craig, what is the key to the success of the race team in 2018?
It takes everybody. My crew chief prepares an awesome race car, so that definitely makes everyone's job easier throughout the whole day. So you got to have a car that doesn't fall apart to be there at the end.
Sure.
And then the biggest thing I could say is we're running 150 to 200 laps, so there's that many laps for stuff to go wrong. I mean, you could have a flat tire, motor could blow, anything. You never know. So to have all the pieces together, a good tire guy, a good spotter, a good car, and just everyone working together, that's the biggest thing about the tour.
Yeah, there's so many things that could go wrong during the course of a race. And then, like you said, you're having, everybody preparing the cars, everybody's doing real well on that, because you have to work hard like that, because you can't let something stupid that somebody overlooked or you forgot about something in the shop or something like that, because there's so much that can go wrong during the race.
Yeah, exactly. And now everyone is so close. I mean, thousandths of a second to split the field from first to 10th. So if you miss it, someone else is going to pick it up. So you just got to make sure you all the work's done in the shop, and it just makes the weekends that much easier for everyone.
Craig, getting back to the race at Stafford this past Friday night, a race that we had mentioned that you finished sixth in. Talk about the pit strategy and everything that went on with the tour on Friday night.
Yeah, with Stafford, now you have the one-tire stop, so
right.
It produces a race that an unbalanced race. So you have guys with two tires, you guys got one tire, you got three tires, so it's all depends on what strategy you have to be there at the end. But I think Kobe, they took right sides, or they took 2 and 2, so they had the track position at the end, which ultimately paid off for them. But we ended up getting a caution. There was a caution around lap 120, and we were able to come in and get 3 tires. So I think that was definitely a good call by my crew chief, and I was all for it. So it's just you came out and you had a little less than 30 laps to go from come out. I think we came out 25th to get up to 6th. So it was definitely we had a strong car. It just felt like if we had some more laps, there would have been a different story.
Craig Lutz on the line with us, 203-757-1320. We're talking auto racing tonight. Once again, Jimmy Blewett was scheduled to join us tonight, but he did give me a text message about 15 minutes before we went on the air saying that he did have an emergency that he needed to take care of, but he would certainly be on next Monday night show. So we reached out to Timmy Solomito, who runs on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, so he'll join us at 6:40 tonight here on Speedway Line Report Radio. But back on with my first guest of the evening, Craig Lutz, having a great 2018 season on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. And Craig, we talked about your crew chief a little bit. You had mentioned him, but talk more about your crew chief and your crew.
They're the biggest part of making the cars go around. My crew chief, Danko, he prepares an awesome race car. That's his full-time job. So then I got a couple guys who stopped by the shop, JR and Greg. They are a huge part of the team, making sure everything's organized, so when we get to the racetrack, it just makes the day go smoother. And then it takes an awesome car owner. Like, I'm lucky enough to have Jeff and Russell Goodale. So it just all the pieces of the puzzle to make a strong team, and I think we're getting better every week.
And besides the Modified Tour, are you doing anything else with racing this year?
We had a plan earlier on the season, but we had some motor problems, so that kind of got cut back. But I think as soon as the season's over, we might hit a couple of those open shows, maybe that Richmond show and North-South Shootout. But that's it for now.
Craig Lutz on the line with us. And, Craig, as we mentioned, the next stop for the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour comes up at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park this coming week, August 8th, and to Bristol on August 15th. But then on September 1st, Oswego Speedway. Talk a little bit about your race team going to Oswego.
It's definitely a long ride, but it's definitely worth it. It's an awesome racetrack. It's one of my favorites to go, honestly, but it just produces a lot of side-by-side racing. You're always turning. There's a guardrail on the inside, so it's definitely something different, but it's nice to go to a different racetrack once in a while.
Yeah, that's one good thing about the tour is that, you know, they are trying to switch up the races and trying to get some new tracks in there for, you know, the guys to drive at and stuff. So WATR, it's not the Connecticut series because, I mean, you got 8 races, you know, in Connecticut as it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have so much variety. You got Super Speedway like Loudon where the drafting is crucial, and then the week before the quarter-mile bull ring at Rivet. So it's definitely... It's cool to change it up and be able to run good at all the tracks is even better.
Yeah, I just always think it's funny. It goes from both times you drive at Riverhead, the next week you drive at Loudon.
Complete opposites.
Yeah, it's just too funny.
Yeah.
And Craig, for the listeners that are tuned in or will listen to our show in a rebroadcast at sidsview.com, where did you get your racing career started?
I started go-karts when I was 5, and we traveled up and down the Northeast, up and down the East Coast. And then when I was old enough, I was able to get in a late model. I raced at Mountain Speedway in Pennsylvania. Ran there for 2 years, won a championship in 6 races, then stepped up into the SK Modifieds at Waterford. Won 2 races there, ran 2 seasons there, and then we made the jump onto the tour in 2016. So.
Now, let me ask you, Craig. I mean, we know the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour, they're doing a great job. And, you know, we talked about the schedule and what a good schedule that they have put together for on the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour. Wheeling does a great job as the title sponsor. But what would you like to see a little bit different maybe on the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour? So take your driving helmet off and put an official's cap on. What would you like to see maybe different on the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour?
I think the racing is good and the racetracks. It's just sometimes the procedures that you have to go through at the racetrack. Langley, Oswego, and now this is going to be the first time at Bristol. You got to pull your truck and trailer and unload all your stuff and pull it out. And then at Bristol, I'm pretty sure for the last 5 years it's rained. So now you have all your stuff stuck in the infield, which is very hard for the whole team because you're always working out of your trailer and you always need something. So I think if they could, I know it's a lot more entailed with the procedures, but that's the biggest complaint as a racer, and seeing how the teams have to do all this stuff to make the race.
Yeah, it's always a pain in the neck when we had to unload everything into the infield because we used to have to do that at Loudon. And, I mean, it was just the worst thing is you know, there's always something going on the racetrack at Loudon. So
yeah,
now
exactly.
You got your car's basically, you know, on pit road the entire time, and all your stuff is behind the wall, and you don't have 2 minutes to think unless a caution comes out.
Yeah, that's the only complaint I really have. I think it just makes it a harder day for everyone. And then when you go down to Bristol, you're always getting rushed around because the cup cars and the trucks, and you're on a time limit, and that's a big trip for us. So to be on a time limit and kind of rushed around is not the ideal situation.
Okay. Well, Craig, I want to thank you for joining us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. As we mentioned, the next stop for the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour will come up this Wednesday, August 8th at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. And once again, great job by you and your team so far in 2018. Some good finishes currently in the top 5 in the point standings as you head in to Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park this coming Wednesday. Craig, thank you so much, and good luck on the remainder of 2018.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. Craig Lutz joining us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. Speedway Line Report Radio is also being brought to you by Jim's Lawn Service. When it's maintenance and lawn care, it's Jim's Lawn Service. Located in Cheshire, Connecticut. If you're looking for someone to take care of your lawn or your property, well, then I suggest Jim's Lawn Service out of Cheshire. You can give them a call, 203-272-2054 for Jim's Lawn Care Service out of Cheshire, Connecticut. Maintenance and lawn care, Jim's Lawn Service out of Cheshire. And don't forget, when it comes to auto body work, it's J.M. Montesano Auto Body Works. Specialists in auto collision, all work guaranteed. They're located at 390 Lombard Street in New Haven. You can give them a call, 203-865-1389. Once again, if you've been in an auto accident and you live in and around the New Haven area, we'll stop by J.M. Montesano, see John Montesano, and talk about what they can do for you to get your car or truck looking back before the accident. J.M. Montesano, Auto Body Works, specialist in auto collision, all work guaranteed, 390 Lombard Street in New Haven, 203-865-1389. We'll take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to a driver that runs on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. He drives car number 16. Timmy Solomito is scheduled to join us next.
In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com. There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility, or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. We are also streaming online at WATR.com, and all shows are archived at SidsView.com. Once again, a big thank you to Tom DiMaggio for everything he's doing for us here on Speedway Line Report Radio. Once again, of course, for many, many years, Tom Ormsby was taking care of things for us here on Speedway Line Report Radio. Tom is still not feeling well at all, and once again, we're thinking of Tom Ormsby, who's done a lot for us over the years here on Speedway Line Report Radio. I'm Gary Danko. My co-host is Rocket Rick Rotondo. Ricky's got his own business in Cheshire, Connecticut, R&R Fabrication, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. And like I do every week, he is a crew member on Eric Bernt's SK Modified. And we talked a little bit earlier about the wreck on Friday night. How much work needs to be done on the number 66 car?
Well, they worked on it on Saturday and got it all apart and saw what we needed to get for parts and stuff. We have spare parts, but you got to reorder whatever you use so you still have it. And so they did that on Saturday. Today they put it all together, and tomorrow they'll have some little odds and ends to do, and then I'll have to put the front spoiler and everything on tomorrow. And they don't make my job easy at all, because when the bolt-on's bent, they still leave it on. So, and you got to make everything fit around it, and so it's fun.
But what's your motto over R&R Fabrication?
If I could see it, I can make it.
Right. So they know it's in good hands.
Yeah, well, they push it.
they push it. And, of course, Stafford Speedway will be back in action this coming Friday night. Hey, big congratulations going out to Rob Janovic, scored a victory over at the New London Waterford Speed Bowl this past weekend.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good for Rob. He's been running well down there. And Kyle James has been the guy to beat down there, so it's good for Rob to get a win.
Yeah, Rob Janovic and his race team, they've been around a long, long time, and they do a great job. And, of course, that car always looks immaculate. So,
I mean, at Stafford, I think if they race this coming week, that'll be, was it 15 or 16 in a row?
Something like that. I know there hasn't been any rainouts yet
none.
in 2018 at Stafford Speedway. And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago that they went, I think it was 2 years ago, they went right up until the end of the season, the last Friday night show.
And they didn't have to cancel that last Friday.
Right. I know you had mentioned that.
Yeah, they didn't have to, but they did, because they wanted to give everybody a break and everybody time to fix their cars, to bring them to the final race, to have a good show for the track, which is a smart thing to do.
Right.
And, I mean, the past couple of weeks, everybody's like, well, maybe they should cancel it. It's tough to cancel when it looks like the rain is going to completely miss you.
Right. Exactly.
You can't cancel it just to cancel it, but it's, I don't know. I talked to one of my farmer buddies, and he says if you want a break, it's not looking good.
You're listening to the Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. Speedway Line Report Radio is presented by Shaler Acura, Manchester, Connecticut, and also being brought to you by JM Montesano Auto Body, Sign Pro, Jim's Lawn Care Service, Levine Auto and Truck Parts, Prestige Body Works, and Grotto Restaurant. Tip of the cap to Ryan Priest, who came home with a solid top 5 finish at Watkins Glen in the Xfinity Series race, a race that was won by Joey Logano.
Yeah, he did really good in that race there. Ryan did. So that's... I can't see how that kid can go another year without a full-time ride.
I certainly agree. I totally agree with you, Rick.
I don't see how he can... they could bypass him for one more year and not give him a full-time ride. Yeah,
I mean, look what he's done going even back to last year, this year so far. I mean, he's doing very, very good in a limited schedule. So he needs to be in a full-time Xfinity Series car, in my opinion, for 2019. And I'm going to tell you, I know any owner that puts him in the car, he'll see results, and, hopefully we'll see him in a full-time ride in 2019. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be all set and ready to go for NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour driver Timmy Solomito. He'll join us next.
There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility, or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com. In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio on WATR 1320 AM, also streaming online at WATR.com, and all shows are archived at SidsView.com. I'm Gary Danko. My co-host is Rocket Rick Rotondo from R&R Fabrication. We heard from Craig Lutz and talking to him about his 2018 season on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Our next guest is all set and ready to go. We appreciate him being a part of tonight's show. He drives the number 16 on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Timmy Solomito now joins us. Timmy, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, guys. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Appreciate you taking time out to be with us tonight. As we did mention, Jimmy Blewett was scheduled to be with us tonight. We wanted to talk to him about his 2018 season, and he did give me a text message, and he had some type of an emergency. We hope everything is okay, but he did say he would be with us on next Monday night here on Speedway Line Report Radio, and appreciate you picking up the slack for us tonight, but we wanted to touch base with you and see how things are going for you in 2018 on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour and some of your other racing endeavors.
Yeah, the season hasn't been as great as we wanted. Coming off of 5 wins last year, we've been struggling a little bit to find some speed. Friday night we found a little bit more speed, and we were competitive. Ran up front for most of the race and ended up with a 5th place finish. So that was good to see, and start the second half of the season off pretty good. So, we're sitting 3rd in points, quite a ways back from 1st right now, 2nd in striking distance, but, still half a year to go, so you got a lot of time left and a lot of racing left. So hopefully we can hit a stride here and hopefully put some speed and everything into the car that we can, and hopefully find victory lane a few times.
Yeah, I mean, there's 7 more races left. I didn't think there was that many until I got here tonight, but there's 7 more races left, so, I mean, that's still plenty of time to make some, moves to get up there in the points. Yeah,
absolutely. Last year, at the halfway point, I believe we were leading points, and, we ended up finishing 2nd. So it'll be interesting. The 51, 15, and a couple others have really been running really strong. So, we're going to definitely have to bring our A game to every race and, just try and put together really good runs and have really good finishes.
Yeah. And, congratulations going out to Doug Colby, who did pick up the victory on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour on Friday night. As we mentioned, the next stop for the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour comes up at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park this coming Wednesday. Let's go back to Stafford, where you had a good, solid top 5 finish. Timmy, what was your pit strategy?
With the 1 tire per stop, it's kind of really changed the racing quite a bit. It's very easy to throw the balance of the race car off. You got tires that are wearing every lap that you're out there, and then you come in and you put, a fresh tire on one corner of the car. It can really throw the balance off. So, the beginning part of the year, we were following suit with putting 1 tire on at a time, and just kind of puts you behind the 8 ball. So we changed up our strategy a little bit this week and came down and took as many tires as we could get on at 1 stop, and it really seemed to work better. The only thing that was tough was at the end there, where they had a late caution and a couple guys came down and got pressure tires. So it's just a double-edged sword. You just don't know how the races are going to play out. That caution didn't come out. We could have finished 2nd. We could have finished 3rd. But it's just the roll of the dice. You really just don't know what's going to happen, and you got to be as smart as you can and just hope that the strategy plays out the best that it can. But it's definitely a lot different doing it that way, but it can get dangerous too, especially at Stafford. Pit stalls are pretty tight there, so it's just a tough deal.
Yeah, that's one thing about racing. Luck is involved in it. If you don't have the luck, you're not going to do well. I mean, it's the way it is in racing. You need to have some luck. I mean, I've said it before. You start the day off with your plan A through Z, and by halfway through the race, you're on double A and triple, B and everything else. So you're coming up with something different because everything is happening that you didn't plan for.
Yeah, it's always something different. You just don't know what's going to happen, and you just can't plan it. It's just something that you gotta go for and gamble a little bit and hope it works out.
Timmy, okay, so that was Stafford Speedway's talking about that this past Friday night. Now the next stop coming up on Wednesday, Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. Now, that's a racetrack that you've had pretty good luck at.
Yeah, certainly. Thompson's probably one of my favorites. I like going there. I think it's a cool racetrack. You can attack it pretty heavily and drive the car really hard, especially if you got a really good piece underneath you. So, just a fun track. You can pass. It's not one groove racing. Just a place that I've always enjoyed since I went there with an SK car. So excited to get back there. Sly and the guys we usually run pretty well there. So excited for it. This stretch is always tough on teams, just being that there's so many races in so many days. So I actually threw an extra race into my schedule at Riverhead Saturday night. Just to keep fresh and try and get some more seat time. I felt like maybe I was lacking a few things, and I just wanted to go out there and try and brush up a little bit, so that was good.
Yeah, the next couple of weeks are a little bit tough for some of the teams because you're at Thompson Speedway and then you go to Bristol the week after, and if you don't have two cars, you got to change around a bunch of stuff on the car to go to Bristol Speedway. So, and then, after Bristol, you got a couple weeks before you go to Oswego, so that gives you a little time to put the car back to what it was, but it's definitely a tough run right now.
Yeah, it makes it hard on everybody, from the truck driver all the way to the guy that cooks the food. It just makes it tough for everybody. Everybody's kind of running around right now, just trying to get everything to work out, and planning on travel and hotels and everything. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into behind the scenes, and just lucky enough to have a great team, great car owner, and everybody that's behind the 16 team.
And coming up September 1st, the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour goes to Oswego Speedway. The last couple of times that the tour has been to Oswego Speedway, how did you and your race team do, Timmy?
The first year we were there, we finished second, and last year we ended up third. So pretty good. Oswego is really cool, really fast, really sweeping. A lot can happen. There's an inside wall, outside wall, so you're never really safe when they crash in front of you, or even passing guys is pretty difficult, So it's an interesting racetrack, definitely a lot different than most, places that we go, but fast and a lot of fun.
Now, with the remaining 7 races, what do you think your favorite track is out of the last 7?
My favorite track out of the last 7, I'd have to go with Thompson. That's just a place that I enjoy. There's something about it when I go to Thompson. I'm always fired up, ready to go, full tilt every week. So I'm excited for the Thompson races. I'm excited for all of them, but we run pretty good at most tracks that we go to, and Sly and them work really hard. We've been struggling a little bit this year, but I think we're going to get things turned around here and point it forward and go for it.
Well, that's good for you because there's 2 more races at Thompson. So,
yep.
You get a couple good runs, in between there at the Bristol, and it depends on what happens at the Riverhead thing.
Yeah, there's quite a bit that can still happen. We're going to Bristol with restricted plates this year and a different spoiler. NASCAR came out with a different package, so it's a lot of unknowns. You just go there and do the best you can and go to the next one.
Timmy, what racetracks would you like to see added to the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour in the future? Tracks that are not on the schedule now, but maybe down the road that you'd like to see a race or 2 on the schedule.
Yeah, growing up, I always liked the fact that the cars would go to Martinsville.
Sure.
I always enjoyed watching on the Chrome Horn and looking at all the pictures, Southern guys, Northern guys, etc. I always said that Martinsville was cool. They got a race at Richmond this year for the passes. Then on a race at Richmond this year at the end of the tour schedule that I believe we're planning on attending with the 16 team. So, that would be another pretty cool place. I'm sure it's really fast. So, I'm looking forward to that. I personally miss the Waterford Speed Bowl. Shame what happened over there, but
sure.
That's a racetrack. Yep. You can climb up on the top and make headway. You could, if your car's good, you could pass on the bottom. It's just a real racy racetrack that personally I miss going to. It'd be nice to get some of the repeats off the schedule and get some different tracks and different venues and see different people. I think that would be cool.
Sure. All right, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Timmy Solomito, who runs on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. The phone line's always open, 203-757-1320. You're listening to the Speedway Line Report Radio here on WATR 1320 AM. We're back right after this.
In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com. There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility, or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio. I'm Gary Danko. My co-host is Rocket Rick Rotondo. Earlier tonight, we heard from Craig Lutz. Timmy Solomito, who runs on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, is joining us. We're talking to him about his race this past Friday night at Stafford Speedway, and, of course, the next stop coming up at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park this coming Wednesday. We're with you every Monday night from 6 to 7 right here on WATR 1320 AM, and also streaming online at WATR.com, and all of our shows are archived at SidsView.com. Big thank you to Tom DiMaggio for all that he's doing for us on the remainder of our season here on Speedway Line Report Radio. Back on with Timmy. So what's going on in the race shop tonight? With your crew chief, Sly, taking care of everything. So what do you think he's working on tonight?
Those guys have been working since Saturday. Actually, they unloaded the cars and just cleaning everything up and getting everything ready for Thompson and getting our second car ready for Bristol. So I'm sure they're quite busy putting a lot of late nights up there in Mass, just trying to get everything sorted out and pointing in the right direction. We didn't really get bent up too bad at Stafford, so that car is pretty much ready to go, which is the car we're using on Wednesday, and then the other car we're using down in Bristol. So. Bristol's a different animal, so there's quite a bit that goes into making the car right for that track and different setups and springs and whatnot. So I'm sure they're just plugging away up there, trying to get everything sorted out and making sure everything's good to go.
Sure.
And you're going to be using the Thompson car at Oswego?
Yeah, we'll use the Thompson car at Oswego. So after Thompson, he'll probably try and switch that thing over so he doesn't have to have too much going on the week after we come home from Bristol.
And now the Bristol car goes to New Hampshire?
Yep, correct. Yep. So we try to alternate weeks. Every other week, use the opposite car, so it doesn't tie up too much and doesn't put too much time on one motor. And there's quite a bit that goes into it. The rear ends that they have us running nowadays are kind of, it's a smaller rear end and a lot of horsepower. So there's a lot of wear and tear in the drivetrain and whatnot. So we try to equal it up with both cars so we don't wear out too many parts or have mechanical failures.
Hey, Timmy, has anything surprised you this year on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour?
No, nothing really. I mean, I think the competitiveness is definitely up. Everybody with spec engines and really good race cars makes it hard to be much better than somebody else.
Right.
It's definitely equaled everything out as far as time-wise, and now it really just comes down to longevity and how the setup is and just driver really. I mean, I think the competitiveness is definitely up from years past, and that's a good thing for the fans. And there's definitely guys bringing their A game every week and getting better. So keeps it interesting for the fans, keeps it interesting for us.
Absolutely.
Keeps the pressure up, keeps everything where it needs to be. So it's never a bad thing.
Okay. Timmy, thank you so much for joining us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. Great job this past Friday night over at Stafford. Good luck this coming Wednesday over at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. And always great having you on the show, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Have a good night.
You're very welcome. Timmy Solomito joining us tonight on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. We'll take our last commercial break, and then we'll come back to wrap things up here on this edition of Speedway Line Report Radio. We'll be back right after this.
In the market for a new or pre-owned Acura? There's only one place to go, Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler offers the area's best selection of new and certified pre-owned Acuras, combined with being Connecticut's only Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Acura Dealership of Distinction Award 18 times. At Shaler, we make owning an Acura easy. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street in Manchester, or visit us on the web at www.shaleracura.com. There's nowhere else like Shaler Acura in Manchester. Shaler Acura is Connecticut's first Acura dealer. Whether it's an MDX or RDX sport utility, or a sport luxury sedan like the ILX or TLX, Shaler has what you're looking for. They also have the area's best selection of certified pre-owned Acuras in the area. Shaler Acura is the only Connecticut Acura dealer to earn the prestigious Dealer of Distinction Award by Acura for outstanding sales and service 18 times. At Shaler, they make owning and driving an Acura easy. Visit their ultra-modern, newly renovated facility today. Shaler Acura, 345 Center Street, Manchester, exit 60 off I-84, or visit them on the web at www.shaleracura.com.
Welcome back to Speedway Line Report Radio. Gary Danko right alongside my co-host, Rocket Rick Rotondo. We heard from Craig Lutz tonight and Timmy Solomito. Speedway Line Report Radio is also being brought to you by Prestige Bodyworks, foreign, domestic, exotic, collision refinishing. It's Prestige Bodyworks. Stop by and see Carl or Brett at 3 Colonial Road in Canton, Connecticut. You can give them a call at 860-693-1350, or you can email them at prestigebodyworks@comcast.net. For Prestige Bodyworks, once again, if it's foreign, domestic, exotic, and if it's collision or refinishing, it's Prestige Bodyworks, located in Canton, Connecticut. Talk to Carl or Brett, and don't forget the Grotto Restaurant. Closed Sunday and Monday, serving fine Italian food, whether it's eat-in or takeout, located at 634 Watertown Avenue, right here in Waterbury, Connecticut, only 2 minutes from the I-84 Route 8 interchange. So, we're closing in on another edition of Speedway Line Report Radio, coming to a close tonight. And Ricky, I know you're going to be heading back to your shop, R&R Fabrication in Cheshire. Still a lot of work to get done for race teams?
Oh, yeah, I got, I think 3 front spoilers and door, quarter, back panel, and some other stuff. It's just crazy right now. It's just no rainouts at Stafford. So you don't have that 1 week to breathe.
Right. And, we talked about that earlier. Yeah. No rainouts yet at Stafford Speedway. And I think, they're like 15 for 15, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and of course, Speedway Line Report Radio is presented to you by Shaler Acura of Manchester, Connecticut, and also being brought to you by J.M. Montesano Auto Body, Sign Pro, Jim's Lawn Care Service, Levine Auto and Truck Parts, Prestige Bodyworks, and Grotto Restaurant. Big thank you to our guests tonight, Craig Lutz, Timmy Solomito, Jimmy Blewett, who was scheduled to be with us tonight, will join us next Monday night here on Speedway Line Report Radio. We hope that you will as well. You can listen to our shows archived at sidsview.com. Speedway.com. Of course, national news is right around the corner, so stay tuned for that. And we'll be with you next Monday night from 6 to 7 right here on WATR 1320 AM. Big thank you to my co-host, Rocket Rick Rotondo, of course, Sid DiMaggio, Steve Noxon, and everyone else involved with Speedway Line Report Radio. We'll talk to you next Monday night at 6 p.m. Good night.
The preceding has been a GMD production. Don't forget to listen to Gary next Monday night for more auto racing news on the Speedway Line Report. And remember, the show can be heard in a rebroadcast on sidsview.com.